a good friend of mine asked me to record him so he can analyze his body position, and track his progress as a rider, because he's pretty new to California and new to motorcycling, and he's done a bunch of track days. So his progression has been pretty steady and fast, but he had a month off from riding, and this was like his first day back, so he wanted to record it so he can see what he retained from his lessons learned. We decided to ride at a pretty moderate pace. No fast acceleration on the straights, just kind of keeping a moderate speed and then rolling off and turning into the corners. This is probably the safest way you can practice any techniques while riding on the street. I wanted to get in front of him because I noticed that he was riding crossed up again, but I felt it was better to record most of the ride so he can see his lines chosen along with his body position, because he was turning in too early, in my opinion. I wanted to point out that, number one, we're both kind of new to Angela's Crest, so this was good for me because I was able to ride at a slower pace and turn in much later than I normally would at a faster pace. So this is allowing me to learn the road. Where you want to, roads like the Crest, which are very, very, very fast and inviting, the corners are wide open going into them, but the exits are usually tight and decreasing radius. So you want to learn it before you begin to ride fast or push it here, which you shouldn't be pushing anyway. But everybody likes to twist the grip when they get out and shoots with their buddies. But this is a good pace to ride so you can learn the road. And I feel like he's turning in a little bit too early. At this pace, he should be taking his time more with his cornering and being a little bit, having more discipline to wait for the corner and then turn in. So we're pretty much going to go on for a pretty decent amount of time. I think I recorded about 10 minutes of his riding. I'm not going to post all of that up for you guys to see, but I got in front of him later on to illustrate that he's not leading with his shoulder and his head and shoulder into the corners. And when we stopped, he was like, "Oh man, I felt like I was." But you never know until you see. We get onto our bikes after not riding for a long time, and you just get into your old habits, and it's just muscle memory. So you have to retrain your body and your muscles to ride in this new style, this new fashion. And if you're trying to learn a new body position, then you need to do it at a slow pace and do it over and over and over again before you begin to go fast again or ride your normal pace. So the idea is to reduce your pace by about 50%. That's a safe pace to ride at. You're riding at a pace where you're not alarmed, you're not thinking about breaking into a corner, you're not thinking about much but just carrying this speed, and you can focus on your lines and your body position. It would have been dope to go down Lime Mile, but you won't learn much there because that road is so wide open and the turns is so moderate. Nothing to learn there. As you can see, we're not really flying down the straights. Want to keep a good pace. I like to just roll off and go into the corners at these speeds versus touching the brakes at all. Get to load the front tire and really get a feel for how the bike handles in the corner and what it really feels like, versus going to a more technical road like in Malibu, where you're just banging the bike from side to side. You don't really get a feel for how your body affects the cornering and the weight transferring. So he's doing good with moving his lower body off to the side of the bike, but his upper body is just too crossed up. His head is in center with the tank. Now, there's nothing wrong with this style, but he wants to, it's an old school style. There's nothing wrong with it. A lot of guys can get away with it, and they do it with success. Troy Bayless, a lot of old school guys still riding the style, but he wants to adapt to what's going on today. So he's not really doing it right now, and he's also, to me, turning in too early as well. So hopefully he can watch this video and learn, and maybe you guys can learn too from what he's doing. You can always, like I said, man, like you never know what you're doing until you actually see it. It might feel like you're doing it on the bike, but you're not. So if you have a good friend who's willing to ride at this comfortable, slower pace and record you, then this is something that maybe you guys can do on your own. If you don't have time or the resources to go to a track. You know, you can still learn a few things on the street, but you have to ride at a slower pace to do it. I'm gonna let this run for a couple of minutes. I'm gonna check out here. You know me, I'm not one for blabbing all over a video. So I'm gonna let this rock, and I'll see you guys soon. I'm probably start putting up some more videos soon once I learn the crest. But it's gonna take a while before I learn this road because it's like 25 freaking miles, and I'm not willing to rush out there and try to make a fast video on a road that I'm not familiar with. So give me some time. Maybe I'll make a video with myself, by myself, just learning the lines. Maybe that'll help some people to learn this road. Until the next time, people, I'm out.